What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. That'd be awesome, but if not, that's totally cool. Enjoy the video either way. In today's video, we're just going to go over the CRKT Razel GT. Now, this is not going to be an in-depth video by any means. If you're looking for specifications, I did release a video previously. Go check that out. That'll have the specifications for you. This video is just going to be aimed at how the knife has been so far with a little over a month of use as an everyday carry. I do still plan on alternate carrying this knife. Now, by no means does that mean it's not a good knife, as you'll see in the video, but I did pick up a new Benchmade knife, and it's my first Benchmade, so I'm just going to alternate because I'm just really excited to have that piece. But I still really love it, so let's go ahead and begin. So as you can see, this is the Razel GT, and the unique part of it is the blade design, how this part is sharp here. So it's sharp here, as well as the standard down at the bottom, and it's just got a really thick fat boy blade, really good, so it's very durable. The weight and feel of it is really good, really balanced. I've been enjoying that. I think that the weight of the body compensates to give the action of the knife a really solid, smooth feel. When I first got this knife, which is very common for any assisted open knife, the action was a little tight at first, but now it's like super duper silky smooth. So it's broken in proper and it feels really good. As you can see, it's just real easy to do, and it feels really nice. I broke it in about probably a little over a week, I feel, and I was just playing with it a bunch. My fiance can attest to that. The volume of this knife is kind of medium, so it's not discreet if you're using the flip action to open it. I don't think it'll cause a lot of attention, but it's not quiet. It's not the loudest I've ever heard. If you two-hand it and just use the flip like that, it becomes a controlled volume, so you can deploy this discreetly, but you'll have to use two hands. So other than that, really good. So happy to report that the action is still very fantastic. The blade sharpness has still retained. Now again, that'll depend on your use case, but for me, I've cut through a bajillion zip ties, quite a few cardboard boxes, and continue to carry it every day, and will even open silly things with it, like cut open envelopes for mail, things of that nature. Anything I can get my hands on that would require the use of a knife, I've been using this, and it's been fantastic. So I'm happy to report that it works really well. The biggest thing that you'll need to consider if you're thinking about purchasing this knife is the blade tip design, I think, really, and if you're not a fan of an assisted open. But if you are, you know, the blade tip is the biggest thing that you'll have to focus on, is whether or not you'll find it useful, because in use case scenario, I usually carry a drop point knife. If you're not familiar with that, I'll show you real quick. This is a drop point, so as you can see here, this part right up here of the blade is not sharp. So you can ultimately use that as a guide, especially if you're going into a bundle of wires or something to cut a zip tie. I did that recently with rebuilding a PC of mine, and I had to transfer the case, so I had to gut the cable management, and this actually worked fine for me. I was very careful and precise. You still can be, but you do have to keep in mind that this part is sharp, so you can't just dive in and then cut a zip tie, especially if there's something fragile around it, like a group of wires. You have to be a little bit more calculated, but it's definitely doable. So really cool. Strips wire really well. Again, still retain the sharpness. It's really good, so I'm happy. Overall, I'm just happy. It's really good. Now, enough of those pros. Let's dive into a couple cons, and my cons aren't actual really cons. They're like nitpicking, basically. I'm a right-hand dominant user when it comes to pocket knife, though I am left-handed in nature, but I just like to use pocket knife in my right hand. It is a right-hand person's knife, really. It's contoured to that market. You definitely can use it left-handed. Deploys fine. The liner lock is still able to be manipulated in a way that you can close it with your left hand one-handed. But I don't like the fact that the pocket clip is not reversible for all my left-handed users that like to put it in their left pocket, or if you just like to put it in your left pocket, period. You know, it's fine, but I don't like when the blade opens towards your body. If this were in my right pocket, it would open away. So I wish that the clip was reversible for that point for anyone that's a left pocket carry. But overall, great. That's just a little nitpicking there. Another nitpick ultimately would be the handle, and then that's it for me. So the handle is a brushed aluminum. It feels really good. They do have some like little detents in here to help with grip for management on both sides. It's like a brushed aluminum, so if I were to scrape my nail like this, it would file my nail. But I don't think it provides quite enough. Now, it won't slip out of my hand, but it definitely doesn't feel super duper grippy like some other pocket knives that I've used in the past, especially ones that have like G10 handles. And obviously, you know, a very, very textured grip. This is a light texturing to it. I don't think it'll slip out and cause an accident to happen, especially while in use, but it's just something to keep in mind. I wish that it was a little bit better, but by no means does it mean it's terrible. It's just something I think that they could improve upon, maybe if they ever do a re-release of this with some modification. And my final note will be, I did read reviews, and I like to research other people's opinions on this too. So if you do have an opinion on this knife or have any specific questions, please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. But off the few that I've read online, the biggest thing is the handle length. For me, as you can see, I have a medium-sized hand, not a super large hand at all, but it fits grip-wise perfectly. So with that in mind, if this knife had a little longer handle, that would be fine too. My rule of thumb is if it fits perfect, great. If it's a little longer, okay, manageable. But if it's too short for your hand, then you're going to run into problems, because then the balance of the knife isn't there. The rest just kind of falls apart. That's the nature of the beast. I think that goes for almost all carries, but just keep that in mind. So when you read a review, if they say anything about like the feel of it and the handle length, just look at the spec and try to dial down if this will fit your hand well, because if it does, I can guarantee you this is a very solid piece, and especially for the price point, the value is there. Again, I really wish I could have got my hands on an original John Graham piece, but they just weren't available. But I will note too that there is a huge price difference. You know, you're looking, instead of like 80 or under for this, you're looking for like upwards to the $400 range, which in my opinion, it can be worth it if it's, you know, an appropriate piece. But not everyone's in the market for a super expensive high-end knife, you know, and this is a great answer to that call. So I will still highly recommend this knife. It's been working really great. I will continue to alternate carry this just because I did make an exciting purchase, my first Benchmade, so I'm going to be switching off to that. But I still really, really like this knife, so I'm going to be, you know, switching off every once in a while just because I do like the feel and the overall design of this blade, and it's useful to me for the things that I like to do. So I hope that this video was helpful for you guys. Durability wise, it has been great, and as you can see, I don't really have any marring yet. The satin blade can really hide finish defects just from common wear and tear. If you have a black blade or any alternate color blade, or even some Damascus sometimes, you know, a really pretty blade, everyday use, it's going to cause scratching along the surface. That's normal. Satin kind of hides that a lot better, but it ultimately also depends on your use case. Are you buying this to collect it and very light use, or are you just going to be a heavy-duty user but don't want to see blemishes? Kind of up to you. I don't mind having blemishes. I have a couple D2 blades that are stone wash and they have some scratching in there, but it just comes with the territory, you know? So just keep that in mind. But otherwise, highly recommend this knife. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I hope it was helpful for you, and I'll catch you in the next one.